Hello, everybody. Hi. Happy Tuesday. Happy Halloween. Um, I'm coming to you live from a little coffee shop, one of my favorite spots downtown in St. John's, Coffee Matters. And I wanted to share a story with you guys, and I wanted to share a little tip for you. I know that so many people out there, myself included, have struggled with anxiety. And for me, I've in the last few years, I've pretty openly shared and talked about my experiences with depression and mental health and anxiety. And yeah, it felt really important to share this and to explore this a little bit today. So a little background on me. So back in 2011, I was diagnosed with depression. And at that time, I didn't really have anxiety at all. I wasn't diagnosed with anxiety and didn't really have to deal with that at all. But for several years, for about 5 or 6 years, I was on medication for depression. And, through using exercise and nutrition, I definitely really started to overcome that depression. And then last year, when I started to learn more about the mind-body-spirit connection, I was able to completely heal that depression. So for the last year, I've been completely free of that depression. And for many months, I was able to also really overcome the anxiety, because anxiety started to creep into my life a few years ago. But recently, some of those feelings of anxiety have started to show up in my life again. And I mean, it's not really easy to talk about because for a lot of us, this is something that a lot of people deal with. We don't talk about it a lot. And being a coach the way that I am, it'd be nice to pretend that I don't ever deal with this, that I don't ever deal with anxiety or overwhelm or any of those things, but it happens for sure. Hey, Patrick. So I wanted to just share with you guys one shift that I made just recently, actually just last week, that completely helped me to totally reframe my anxiety and totally erase that anxiety from my life. So a few weeks ago, kind of out of nowhere, I started to wake up in the middle of the night with this crippling anxiety. It'd be 2-3 o'clock in the morning. I would wake up with this intense anxiety. And it was so overwhelming, and I could feel it in my whole body, and I just started to shut down. And then sometimes it would take me a full day, sometimes 2 days, to be able to feel better about it, and it would just totally take over. And then about a week ago, something shifted, and then one night when I was having that experience of feeling the anxiety come up, I decided to look at it differently. And for me, so when the anxiety comes on, for me it starts with I get a physical sensation. So I start to feel this burning almost in my chest, and then my throat, and then my forehead, and then my face just feels like it's burning. And that for me is the physical sensation that comes along with my anxiety. So what I did last week when this happened one night, in the middle of the night, woke up. I don't know where it came from, but I had this moment of clarity where I decided to look at my anxiety differently. And so what I did, instead of, because normally when those feelings, when that physical sensation would come on, I would start to have thoughts that go along with it, right? So those fears start to come up, the stresses, kind of anything and everything in your life that might be stressing you out a little bit starts to flood in. So if you're stressed about money, then the money thoughts start to come in. If you having trouble in a relationship, then that starts to come in. So all this starts to seep in, and then it kind of spirals. I don't know if any of you have ever had this experience. If you're watching this, if this is something that you've ever felt, if you've ever struggled with this or dealt with this before, I'd love to hear from you. Maybe just drop a number 1 in the comments. If anxiety is something that you've ever experienced or that you've ever struggled with as well, I'd love to hear that I'm not alone here. I know I'm not alone. But I started to, again, have that sensation come on, and then, again, those thoughts started to follow it. And so last week, what I did that I hadn't done before, something I did that was so different, instead of letting my mind start to take that path and start to kind of go down that, go down that spiral, I chose to neutralize the anxiety. And so what I mean by this is that I didn't assign it a negative emotion. So I actually said to myself, okay, this anxiety that I'm experiencing, I'm only calling it anxiety, or it only feels bad because I am choosing to give it that meaning. I'm choosing to make it mean that anxiety is bad. And then I took it back a step further and I said, okay, this anxiety, what's really happening is that I'm having a physical sensation, a physical rush of energy in my body. And if I remove the judgment of this being bad or negative, then it's just a physical sensation in my body. And the only reason that I've been looking at it or labeling it as bad is because that's what's happening in my head. I'm associating this physical sensation with negative thoughts and taking myself down that path. So in that moment, I decided that when I would feel that physical sensation that I would previously have associated with anxiety, I made the decision, when I feel that energy coming on, when I feel that like heat, that rush, overtaking my body, I'm going to just sit with it and I'm going to just observe it. And instead of calling it anxiety, I'm just going to call it energy moving through my body. And I'm going to sit with it and I'm going to just let it move. I'm going to let myself feel it and experience it. And without calling it good or bad, I'm just going to see how it feels. And the moment that I did that, the moment that I stopped calling it anxiety, the moment that I stopped associating it with negative things, all of the uncomfortable sensations were gone. So instead, what I was left with was just this feeling of heat and energy moving through my body. And if you do just that, if you just do that one little shift of just witnessing the sensation in your body without judging it, without assigning it a good or bad quality, if you do just that one thing, that will create a shift. If you want to take it to the next level, then you can thank it. You can thank this energy for moving through your body, and you can ask it what it wants you to learn. Because you're experiencing that quote-unquote anxiety, that energy, it's happening to teach you something about yourself, about your life, about your surroundings, your environment. It's basically a sign that something needs to change, that something can be shifted. And so it doesn't have to be a bad thing. It's actually a beautiful gift. It's actually an opportunity for you to create a shift. So in that moment, like 3 a.m., middle of the night, literally don't know where this insight came from. But in that moment, I chose to look at it in this completely different way than I'd ever looked at it before. And everything shifted. And so now, in the last, couple of weeks, I guess the last week or so, first of all, that sensation is happening less and less. But B, if it does start to happen, if I start to feel that kind of rush, those physical sensations, maybe again that like burning, that heat in my face or my forehead or my chest or my throat, when I feel that start to come on now, I don't judge it. I've neutralized it. I look at it as, okay, this is what I used to call anxiety, but now I'm just calling it energy. So I've removed that judgment of it, or the negative connotations. And that, again, that in and of itself creates a huge shift. And then second, I say, okay, well, what is this trying to teach me? What is this trying to show me? Is there something in my physical surroundings that needs to change? Was there a thought that I was thinking just previous to this experience that maybe was a disempowering thought or a story that I'm being called to bring awareness to so that I can shift it, so that I can reframe it into something more empowering? So then you can start to ask it why it's showing up for you, what it's trying to teach you. This has been such a powerful piece of awareness for me. It's created such powerful shifts for me because, again, the last month or so, I was waking up every single night with this crippling anxiety, and this fear would start to creep in. And like I said, there was a day, about a month ago, there was a day where I didn't even get out of bed. And I felt so bad about myself because I was like, oh my God, I I haven't had anxiety like this in years. Like, what's going on? And I was starting to judge myself for it, and then I just like sunk further into that hole. But with this new awareness, again, it's created such a powerful shift for me. Hopefully you guys can hear me. I'm in a busy coffee shop and there's so much noise happening. But this, like I said, this one powerful shift has just created such a change in my life that I look at that anxiety as a gift. I look at it with love. And when you can get to that place in your life, it's so powerful and it's so empowering to be able to live that way and to feel that way about your life. So I just wanted to pop on and share this with you guys today. I hope that this has helped in some way. If you have any further questions, like if it didn't fully make sense, or if you need some more help on like how to apply this, then please comment below or shoot me a message and just ask for help. But like I said, it's a practice as well, right? This is an ongoing practice. But that first step is to, when you feel that sensation of anxiety start to come on, then just release judgment of it. Stop assigning it a negative meaning. Allow it to just move through you and look at it as it's just energy moving, and it's energy that's moving so that you can create some new awareness. So I encourage you to give this a try. If you do give it a try and it works, I would love to hear from you. If you give it a try and it doesn't work, I would also love to hear from you, because then, maybe there's a way that we can tweak it, something that we can try that will work for you that didn't work for me, something a little bit different, because no one's the same, right? So things that work for me might not work for you and vice versa. But yeah, that's what I wanted to hop on and share today. I truly hope that this can help you a little bit with anxiety if you struggle with this in your own life. If you want to share this video with someone or tag someone, please feel free to do that. Again, if you have any questions, please let me know. But I really hope that this helped you in some way today. So thank you guys so much for watching. Love you so much, and I will talk to you later. Bye.